journey to wellness with the ultimate guide in town. Welcome to Wellness Unleashed with Doc Stone. Join us as we journey through the realms of natural healing, where ancient wisdom meets modern science. Prepare to be inspired by stories of transformation and triumph. With Doc Stone as your guide, discover the power of holistic living and the joy of reclaiming your health. Prepare for a whirlwind adventure through the world of holistic wellness. From fitness freaks to spiritual gurus, we've got something for everyone. So grab your sneakers, your yoga mat, or just your sense of curiosity, and let's dive headfirst into a world of wellness wonders. Wellness Unleashed with Doc Stone. Your path to a vibrant life starts now. Well, happy Thursday, Wellness Warriors. Super excited to be coming to you again this week here with another episode of Wellness Unleashed with Doc Stone. I am your host, Doc Stone, your holistic health coach, your natural health guru, and somebody who's on a journey to learn and to grow in all areas of my health. And so I'm excited to be here with you to help you to also learn uh, different ways to improve your health holistically and naturally. Before we get kicked off with today's topic, I do want to remind everybody that all of the stuff that we share today is not intended to diagnose or treat any illness or disease. It is purely for entertainment and educational purposes only. Whatever platform that you are watching or listening this show on, we are grateful to have you as a member of our audience. If you were not aware, we are available video on demand on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, as well as on Twitch. And we're also available the following day on Shopify, iHeartRadio, and also on Apple Podcasts. Just search for Natural Health TV on the AeroStream TV network. Today's episode is brought to you by the AeroStream TV network and also by Doc Stone's Natural Medicine and Wellness. And we are going to kick off today's show. We're going to get a little bit gutsy today. We're going to talk a little bit about some gut health, particularly about Crohn's disease, which was a requested topic as well. We always like taking audience requests on health topics. Also, if you are a practitioner or maybe you have an amazing and inspiring healing journey story and you'd love to be a guest on the show, we would love to hear from you. Make sure to message us, reach out to us. Our contact information is available in the ending credits after the show. Or if you are interested in having your own television show on the AeroStream TV network, want to know what that looks like or entails, whether it's in the health space or it's in the leadership or business space, we can help get you set up on the network and increase your audience out there. So today we're going to talk about Crohn's disease, and this is going to be a very interesting topic. So many people suffer from gut issues. Gut health really affects a whole lot of lives. It can be debilitating, and it can be very hard to diagnose and to figure out. And even more so, it can be very challenging and frustrating to receive healing, to get better. And a lot of people struggle with chronic gut health issues for many years before they actually get an answer to their problem or what we call a diagnosis, and even worse yet, getting any kind of sense of normalcy back in their lives. So we're going to talk a little bit about Crohn's disease, You talk about some natural and holistic alternative possible therapies for Crohn's disease, and provide some resources for you if you do know anybody, or you think that you want some support in this area. So we are going to get today's show started talking about natural approaches to Crohn's disease. So, what is Crohn's disease? We always like to start out kind of understanding the basics of what it is that a condition is. And so, Crohn's is an autoimmune related. Now, we've talked about that term autoimmune in the past, which basically means that for some reason your immune system goes into hyperdrive and starts attacking your own body's system. So, it's an autoimmune related chronic inflammatory condition of the gastrointestinal tract. Now, a lot of people think that it's just an issue in your intestines, but in fact, Crohn's disease can impact or affect any part of the entire gastrointestinal tract. So that's all the way from the mouth all the way to the anus. So you could actually end up with Crohn's affecting you anywhere along the entire GI tract. It could be continuous all the way from one end to the other, or it could be in various spots. So you could have it in your small intestine, in your large intestine, you could have it in your anus or in your mouth. It could be spread out all over in different places. So it doesn't have to necessarily be a continuous condition all the way through. The thing with Crohn's disease is that it is the medical professionals will tell you it's not curable. You will always have it. It's an autoimmune related condition. However, we know that there's an ability with natural and holistic methods to alleviate your symptoms to the fact that you're not suffering or being affected by the condition. So we're going to talk today, as always, about what it is. We'll go through the numbers here, but we'll also talk about what some holistic and alternative therapies might be for Crohn's disease if this is something that you, a friend, or a loved one are suffering from. So again, autoimmune, just like any other autoimmune condition, the number one thing that you can do is just make sure that you have a robust immune system and try to avoid lifestyle choices that might trigger the autoimmune reaction, because once the autoimmune reaction is triggered, it's hard to get rid of. So let's talk about the numbers. Okay, here's Crohn's disease by the numbers. So is it estimated to affect 780,000 or so people in the U.S. Now, all these statistics are U.S. However, understand that it is also a condition that affects other parts of the world. Now, here's a couple of things to keep in mind. That until recent history, in the middle of, say, the 1900s, Crohn's disease was rarely ever heard of. It wasn't really a condition. But with the increase of processed foods and chemicals in our foods and additives in our foods, we have seen a huge spike in Crohn's disease diagnoses. Keep in mind also that in more primitive cultures where they don't have processed foods, where they're eating raw foods, where they're eating vegetables, a whole food diet without all the chemicals and stuff, we rarely see Crohn's disease. So there is a correlation between our food sources and Crohn's disease, just like everything else. The chemicals in our environment, toxins that we bring into our house. We've talked about this with other conditions as well, that all of these things can trigger an autoimmune response. So we want to do what we can before we get diagnosed with an autoimmune disease to try to prevent the trigger from it. In the Western United States, women are impacted about 2 times more than men are with Crohn's disease. However, interestingly enough, and we don't really know why, in Asia, men tend to be affected by Crohn's more than women. There's approximately 33,000 new cases diagnosed in the United States annually, and its most commonly diagnosed ages are between 15 and 35 years of age. Now, another interesting fact, even in the United States and the Western cultures here, if Crohn's is diagnosed in pediatric ages, so younger than 15, it tends to be more prevalent in male children than it does in female children. But once we get to where that larger population is diagnosed in the 15 and 35, it's almost 2 times more likely to be women than it is to be men. So let's talk about causes and risk factors of Crohn's disease. So we're going to talk about a lot of different causes and risk factors here, and they all kind of correlate to the same thing. They cause inflammation in the gut. They cause leaky gut or intestinal permeability, and therefore open up for a robust immune response, which can cause the immune system to go into hyperdrive. And if it doesn't shut off, it'll start attacking the body's tissues, in this case, the gastrointestinal tract, and causing inflammation, ulcers in that sense. Crohn's disease is an inflammatory bowel disease, and so it's classified in that section of that type of diseases. So a diet high in fatty and refined foods and low in fiber is a cause and risk factor for Crohn's disease. Food allergies, again, anything that's going to irritate the colon or the gastrointestinal tract, and food allergies obviously will do that. When if your body is allergic to a substance in a food or a specific type of food, once it hits that intestine, the immune system kicks in, going, danger, and goes to attack. And unfortunately, a lot of times what it'll do is it'll end up also attacking the lining of the intestines of the GI tract, and will begin to cause damage to that area. Free radicals. These, you've probably heard the term free radicals before, is something that causes oxidative stress in the body. Lots of different things can be free radicals: chemicals, toxins, heavy metals, all of those types of things. So, trying to prevent these is pretty important for trying not to trigger an autoimmune response such as Crohn's. Nutritional deficiencies. Stress is a really big factor in a lot of diseases, especially in autoimmune conditions and in Crohn's specifically. It can trigger Crohn's flare-ups, and is super common that when you do have flare-ups, of course, it's a cycle. When you have a Crohn's flare-up and you're in pain and you have inflammation and you're having all the issues, you get more stressed. And as you get more stressed, it causes more flare-ups, and it becomes this continuous cycle of things. Increased intestinal permeability. Now, there's a lot of things that actually cause intestinal permeability. And essentially, what that means is the tight junctions, the villi in the intestinal walls, they don't close like they're supposed to. And therefore, they let these allergens and different types of things that are not supposed to get into your blood system. And so in our clients, we have found intestinal permeability to be a problem or an issue in a lot of them. We use functional medicine lab testing to identify whether or not somebody may be suffering from intestinal permeability. And we find that in this part of the world, in the United States, intestinal permeability is becoming extremely common. But the good news is that there are protocols, there are things we can do to help people, to support people who may have intestinal permeability. Intestinal infections, of course, will irritate the lining of the GI tract. And again, it'll activate the immune response to come and fight the infection. And oftentimes, if the immune system is not strong and it's not doing what it should be, it'll go into hyperdrive and attack the body systems. And poor lifestyle choices such as smoking and drinking alcohol. Research has shown that people who smoke have a significantly higher incidence of Crohn's disease than those who don't smoke. So if you suffer from Crohn's disease and you smoke, stop. If you don't suffer from Crohn's disease and you smoke, stop. Okay. And of course, alcohol is very, very inflammatory and irritating to the gastrointestinal tract, and therefore can activate the autoimmune response. So it's super important that we make sure that we're avoiding these inflammatory things, including sugars and processed foods that can cause our intestinal tracts to become inflamed. So, what are some common symptoms? First of all, anybody who suffered of Crohn's will tell you that it's miserable. It is something that is very, very frustrating. Can cause you to not be at work a lot. But these are some of the common symptoms. They're not all of the symptoms, but abdominal pain, oftentimes very, very severe abdominal pain, chronic diarrhea, very, very frequent gas and bloating, fatigue, mouth and anal sores, weight loss, malnutrition, anemia, which is low iron. All of these are common symptoms. Now, here's part of the frustrating part about Crohn's and any other gut disease. And I can tell because I suffered for years with the variety of gut issues, chronic gut issues that are debilitating, that I spent tens of thousands of dollars of doctors on procedure after procedure, trying to figure out how to heal it. And really, I was just on this cyclical hamster wheel, and very, very, very frustrating. So a lot of these symptoms of Crohn's disease also are symptoms of many, many other diseases. So it can be very, very hard to pinpoint, to actually figure out what it is that you have. And so it's really important that, we focus on taking care of our guts, because the vast majority of our immune system is created in our gut. There's the gut-brain axis connection there. Everything really starts in the gut. And so if we are not doing well there, we're probably not going to be doing well in other places as well. So how do we how is Crohn's diagnosed in the conventional medicine world? Well, usually your doctor is going to review your medical history. They're going to do some blood testing, probably a comprehensive stool test. However, I've found in our experience that in conventional medicine, they don't always order the stool testing or the blood testing that is going to help to pinpoint the root cause of your issues. And so that's why in our coaching practice, we offer our clients functional medicine lab testing that we send right to your home for you to collect your sample and ship it back. It's the most advanced labs out there, and to help you to drill down to the root cause of issues. So a comprehensive stool test, colonoscopy, or an endoscopy. So colonoscopy goes up one end, and the endoscopy goes down the other end, to check your entire GI tract, look for inflammation, look for ulcerations in there, possibly take a biopsy, look for H. pylori. So all kinds of things that you can look for with the colonoscopy and the endoscopy. And then, of course, imaging studies like an MRI or a CT scan. So what are some of the conventional treatments for Crohn's disease? So usually one of the very main things is anti-inflammatory medications, especially corticosteroids. Now, here's the issue. Anti-inflammatory medications will help to relieve your inflammation in the moment, to help to give you some relief from the discomfort, from the pain. However, we know that anti-inflammatory medications also damage your intestinal tract. It causes leaky gut. It can cause other issues inside of your GI tract. So if we can use other things to address your symptoms, to get you relief from the symptoms, without necessarily throwing in corticosteroids or other anti-inflammatory medications that can also be hard on your GI tract, you might have more long-term relief from your Crohn's symptoms. Immune system suppressors are oftentimes prescribed so that your immune system isn't attacking your body as much. But again, if we're suppressing your immune system, right, then we're also opening you up for other infections or other types of things. Antibiotics, and of course, we know that antibiotics are very, very damaging to the microbiome inside of your intestinal tract, which is one of the primary producers of your hormones, your immune system, and other things. So if we're wiping out your microbiome, we're opening you up for other diseases as well. And then oftentimes well, not often, but in severe cases, sometimes you have to have surgery. So because what happens oftentimes is this repeated inflammation can cause scarring, which then can cause blockages inside your intestines. And so, you may have to have surgery either to remove a blockage or possibly a section of your bowel. And these bowel surgeries are not fun. I've personally had a couple sections of my bowel removed and surgically, and so I know I speak from experience in the frustrations and the ways to deal with chronic gut illnesses. Just a note here, the bowel obstruction is a medical emergency. So if you suspect you or someone you care for may have a bowel obstruction, it's imperative to seek immediate medical attention because it is a truly life-threatening emergency should you have a bowel obstruction or a blocked bowel. So what are some holistic and natural treatments for Crohn's disease? We always want to start off talking about diet because food is your medicine, right? So whole foods diet incorporating organic ingredients you prepare. I will say this every single time we talk about diet. If you can get organic ingredients, it is really, really important. I actually had somebody ask me last week, does it really make a difference if it's organic or not? Yes, yes, yes. It definitely makes a difference because the toxins and the chemicals used in non-organic foods are hormonal disrupting. They create what's called a toxic burden inside of your body, and they can affect your immune system. So super important. Please make sure that if you can, wherever possible, consume organic ingredients, and as much as possible, especially if you have Crohn's, make sure that you're preparing your food. Don't let other people prepare it. That way you know exactly what is going into your meal. You want to consume high quality protein. Oftentimes people who have Crohn's disease are deficient in protein, and then avoid wheat and gluten. Now, I know that's really hard. I love pasta. I love bread. I feel you. But this is such a big problem. A lot of people don't even realize that a lot of their health issues, their stomach issues, all around overall health can be connected to wheat and gluten. We as a society and as a population have seen a huge increase in sensitivity and reactivity to gluten and wheat. So we want to make sure that we are trying to avoid that as much as possible. Not sure if wheat or gluten is an issue for you. Reach out. We have a very, very, very highly sensitive and specific lab test that we can send right to your house, and you return it, and within about 10 to 14 days, we'll have a whole look at what's going on as far as this goes with your intestinal permeability, wheat sensitivity, gluten sensitivity. And, there's sensitivity to gluten and wheat that's not celiac disease. So you may not have celiac disease, but you may still be sensitive and it may be causing permeability in your intestines. Avoid dairy where possible. Drink vegetable juices. In fact, cabbage juice is a very, very good healer for your intestines. If you do have Crohn's disease, certainly recommend drinking a glass of cabbage juice daily, if at all possible. But we want to limit fruit juices because fruit juices tend to be inflammatory to your bowel versus the vegetable juices, and avoid sugar and processed fast foods. Research has shown that people who consume fast foods are about triple likely to get Crohn's disease than those who don't consume fast food. So avoid sugar, processed, and fast foods if at all possible. Some of the holistic and natural treatments, herbs, and supplements that work are aloe vera, slippery elm, licorice root. You want to get the DGL. It's a diglycerided licorice root. And probiotics, very, very important. Turmeric, the compound in that is actually curcumin, which has actually been used in ancient medicine for thousands of years, especially in Ayurvedic medicine, and is very, very anti-inflammatory. Boswellia, otherwise known or called frankincense, and fish oil, because the essential fatty acids in fish oil are also very anti-inflammatory. So holistic and natural treatments, lifestyle changes, stress management, such as meditation, yoga, deep breathing exercises, sleep hygiene. Sleep is very, very important for your immune system. It's very, very important for healing. Your body goes into healing mode when you're in that deep sleep. Don't smoke or drink alcohol, and stay away from smoke. If you don't smoke, stay away from smoky rooms, because all this stuff can trigger Crohn's flare-ups. And then stay active and exercise daily. Moderate exercise every day helps to keep your bowel moving, keep things from blocking up or stopping up inside of there. Some alternative therapies include acupuncture, acupressure, massage, reflexology, aromatherapy, and hydrotherapy. Hydrotherapy, if you haven't heard of that, there's a whole lots of different types of hydrotherapy, but particularly for Crohn's, what's called constitutional hydrotherapy could be very helpful for you. And that's, alternating between cold water and hot water on your body. If you're doing cold showers to help to stimulate that vagus nerve, could be beneficial for you as well. Here's some resources, sources where I've got some information from, but also resources that might help you to learn more about Crohn's disease, especially if you are suffering from Crohn's disease. Of course, the Mayo Clinic, there's the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, and the National Institutes of Health all have fantastic information on Crohn's and further resources for you in there. You can get practitioner grade curcumin and other supplements that we suggested in here with a 10% discount courtesy of me by visiting this webpage there. I'll include it in the show notes as well. You can only get these from practitioners, so you'll need to use practitioner code 661753 in order to claim that 10% discount and to register to order. These are clean products that don't include any unnecessary fillers or anything like that in there. So that's a resource for you as well. And then if you'd like to order any of the lab testing that we talked about, including we just released recently an autoimmunity Zoomer lab test, there is the website for that. Just go to docstone.wellproz.com and you can order straight from home. The order will come in. We'll get a process for you. Get the lab sent out to your house. You collect the sample and ship the sample back, and we will get you your results. So that's Crohn's disease in a nutshell. That is really, an important thing for us to know about is, that a couple things that we could, a second there. There's a lot of different gut diseases that can look like Crohn's disease. A lot of the symptoms are the same, so make sure that you visit your practitioner to figure out, to try to drill down to what really is causing your issues with your gut, and make sure that you eat healthy and that you're always looking for natural ways to address whatever health issues you have. They can complement any treatments that you're getting with your physician. So I hope that that was helpful. As always, if you have any questions or you want to learn more, feel free to reach out. Make sure that you like, subscribe on whatever platform that you're doing. Share this with anybody that you feel like could use the information. Anybody who might be suffering from Crohn's disease or any other chronic ailment in the GI tract. And I am super honored that you chose to spend your time with us today. As always, be well. Thank you for watching Wellness Unleashed with Doc Stone on the ArrowStream TV network. The opinions expressed by the host and guests of this show are theirs and not the opinions of the network or our sponsors. None of the information shared on today's episode should be taken as medical advice. Statements have not been approved by the FDA or any other governmental authority. And if you're experiencing any kind of illness or wellness issue, you are encouraged to consult with your licensed healthcare practitioner. And we do appreciate you watching our show and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.